this morning, I got my cup of coffee and I was thinking about what I've learned to get to retirement financially. What would I tell a younger generation? What would I do to be in a good position for retirement? And I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, Holy Schmidt, a whole number of a guy in Arizona that retired with very little money and shows how he makes a living, even though now he's earning so much money off YouTube. I'm not so sure that's a fair outlook, but it's his. As you go into retirement, you're looking for how much should I have saved? How much? I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to give this advice that would be advice to myself some 25 years ago. This would be my advice. And I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I'm going to get right to it. And this is everything in a nutshell from my perspective. The first thing I would do in my younger self would be, if your company has a 401k or an IRA and they match an amount, do that. Do not miss that. Do that. That's one thing you got to start right out with, is take that match, because for every dollar you put in, you get another dollar from the company. Do it. And those programs are tax-free. They'll help reduce your taxes while you're younger, and they will build up dollars for your retirement. The second thing I would do is pay down your debt. Credit cards, auto loans, mortgage, pay down your bigger debts. Get those paid off as soon as you can, because I think that's the number two thing. And even if your 401k, just match the company at first, if that's all you can do. But get those dollars. The next thing I would do, now people in the younger are going to struggle at this, but take out a Roth IRA. In 2024, the limit's $7,000. Put as much as you can into that. The tax advantages in the future, all of those things benefit you. You can watch other videos on each one of these, because I'm not going to go into detail, but try to max out your Roth IRA. The fourth tip is really, it's a little different. Start as early as you can. Means you can retire earlier. If you wait longer, you're going to be later to retire. Whatever that means for you. This is why this is not income based. This is not how much money you need. This is what you need to do to have a good retirement at whatever level you're at. So start as early as you can. The later you start, the harder it's going to be. The real goal here is to put away 15% of your income. Figure that out. Put it away. Put that money away. Even if you end up doing all of these, number 5 is try to have a goal of at least 15%. And I know it's difficult when you're younger and kids and houses and all of those things come up. Putting 15% seems like a long, hard thing to do. And it doesn't seem like you gain a lot of interest early on, or you gain a lot in your portfolios. Trust me, compounding takes over in later years. I guess one of the things I found, and I think I've found this in other YouTube videos, is that the money you put in at first, like, oh, you got $10,000 and it turns into 12 and it seems like it's creeping along for years. But then for some reason, once you get to 75,000 or 100,000, it ramps up. And this is going to go into my next recommendation of mistakes I made. I want to make sure you don't make. The stock market's not a gambling thing. This is where young people think, oh, I got to then pick stocks, or I got to go into mutual funds, or I got to follow whatever my advisor tells me. I'm going to tell you no. The smart people putting money in the market follow the S&P. There's a lot of funds that follow the S&P top 500 stocks, and they adjust for that. And that usually runs better than any mutual fund or any of these others over time. And what you will find is you can find these ETFs. All of the Vanguard, everybody has one of these S&P 500s. I picked one, and I will honestly tell you, I got it from an advisor that made the recommendation for the company that I was working for. I followed suit, and my net gains were so much higher. And I will tell you the one thing, and investment brokerage firms are not going to like me to tell you this. My early years in those mutual funds, too many fees were being taken out. They would offset the gains. Even in the markets were not going and growing as fast as everybody talks about, the ETFs are less than 1% costs of fees. Sometimes 0.75, really low. Look at the fees. So when they gain 8 or 10%, you're gaining almost the whole amount. And those funds grow and they match the market. And if you understand the stock market, understand it like this. It's not a gambling casino kind of thing. Ever since it's been started, it follows the economic growth of the country. More people, more business, more profit, dollar value going up. So the stock market follows the same. It does have its dips, but you just got to put the money in. I don't know how many times I've heard like, oh, a doctor put money aside in their retirement account, didn't look at it, and then looked at it 10 years later and went, oh, I have $1 million. I don't know how many times I've read that. That's because don't make the mistake, and I made the mistake, when the market dips, don't pull your money out, don't do all, that's going to cost you. It's going to cost you in a lot of gains. You got to pay to get back in, you got to pay, it doesn't work. You want to stay in for the long haul. I agree with that. Put your money in, let it ride, don't look at it all the time. Now, when you get close to retirement, go ahead and look at it. But I would go with an ETF S&P 500. That's where I'd put my money. If you want to put 80% there and 20% someplace a little safer, or savings, high interest earnings, just to have some people like to do this to make it a little bit feel more comfortable. But I will tell you, that's my recommendation. So if I were to look back, those are the things I would do. Whether you have a pension program or not, I would do that. If you have extra money, put it in your 401k or IRA that the company offers. Do that. It will save you multiple ways. And you should, in 25 to 30 years, you should then follow the 4%. You should have earned enough by doing this that you should be able to retire based on the 4% rule. And I'm not going to go into the 4%, but it's you take out 4% each year. The portfolio is big enough that it's earning more than 4%, so you're not going to lose money, and you're going to continue to be able to take that amount out. That 4% should equal enough to help you retire comfortably. Now, whether that 4% is with Social Security or without, if you saved up early enough, you might be able to retire earlier before you even need Social Security. That's my words of wisdom. I tried to put it down as quickly as I could. Not a lot of fluff here, not about how much money do you need to save and all that depressing stuff. The steps you need to take and say, I'm taking these steps. If it's just that goal of 15%, do it. You know, that 401k a company offers, do it, but make sure the 401k, if you have a choice, put it in an S&P 500 ETF. Do that. I wish I had done that earlier. I'm not so sure I did the whole mutual funds. But looking back, this is what I would do. So retire with enough money is what this video is about. Don't make the mistake. Don't rely on the government's going to come through for you somewhere down the road. Take your own steps, take your own actions so you can retire and retire comfortably. Thanks for watching. It's a little different video. Just wanted to put it out there. This is what I would have done. If you want to see more of these financial summaries, tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching.